Hey guys, Augiesaint here and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I'm finally ready to share with you guys what I have been cooking up on my bunny. Now this is going to be predominantly an ultimate bunny build. However, I will share with you guys a variant for normal bunny. So for all the normal bunny players out there getting ultimate bunny in the cooker, you will eventually be able to transition to this build, and it's very quick and very easy to change. You basically just change two mods, you add one of the Transcendents, and you change another normal mod. As you can see in the background, this build is very strong. I run through pretty much every single hard mode dungeon with max modifiers. Doesn't matter what the modifiers are. And it's also very tanky, and it's also very comfy because it does have very good MP management. So I can run all the time, and that's without using Bionic Fuel, as I know not everybody can get Bionic Fuel mod. And honestly, after a lot of testing with Bionic Fuel, I don't quite like it. The best way that I could see Bionic Fuel working, I did test that as well, was going a full shield bunny, because Bionic Fuel, the way it works is it drains your HP like down to very low numbers, and you just cannot heal that back. A lot of people thought HP Collector would be the fix for that, but it doesn't work. So this is the best build that I've been able to cook up, the comfiest, and I'm going to share two other builds with you guys as well that I am cooking up. I'm just letting you know this is going to be a lengthy video. I'll have all the timestamps down below, so check them out. Without further ado, let's hop straight into the builds. So the first thing you need to understand with Bunny is there's no right and there's no wrong way to actually build it. It really depends on your playstyle. Do you want to go fast? Do you want max range? Do you want max damage? Do you want to like have max HP, max defense? What is it you want to achieve on Bunny? Now for me, what I want to achieve on Bunny is I want to do the most damage I can do in a pretty good range. It doesn't have to be the biggest range, but the bigger the range, the better. So that's first thing, much damage as I can do. Second thing is I always want to go fast. So I never want to run out of MP. And then I came up with this build after a lot of cooking back and forth. I've spoken to so many bunnies in the last 2 weeks and stuff in streams and discords all over the place. And this is what I have finally settled on. This is the comfiest build. I call it the Wub Wub AoE. Obviously we have changes because recently we started running high voltage. Now this thing is exceptionally strong, even for mobbing. I thought that this was not very good for mobbing. And after some testing, and also a viewer of mine over at my Twitch suggested that I try this out. So shout out to you, NT, that this thing is very good for mobbing. So this is now what we've settled on as the comfiest mobbing bunny build. And don't worry guys, if you're not Ultimate Bunny, because obviously this mod is specific to Ultimate Bunny. If you're not running Ultimate Bunny, all you have to do is drop high voltage, and then you need cooldown to go into this one. So let's go Malachite. Where is the cooldown? Nimble Fingers. This is the change you make. If you're not running Ultimate Bunny, that's literally all you do. It will be a little bit less damage because this thing is just so strong, having that mod, the high voltage, but at least you will have the cooldown and everything will run smoothly. You're going to have pretty good range on this build. You see we have over 100 range, 114 range. And then the best thing about this is the skill cost and the MP as well, because you're going to be able to run for quite a while in this build. So let's go ahead and not save that. Let me just demonstrate to you guys in the background. Do keep in mind, I am not level 40 yet. We're close to level 40 just because I formatted it again. And we see we already have 450 MP. When you level up, I believe you get like between 5 to 10 MP per level. So maybe that will go up close to 500, maybe like 480 or something like that. So that MP is going to help us run a little bit longer. But let's just demonstrate to you guys and show how long we can run. As well, check out the damage. You see we're doing about 4.5, about 4.8, so almost 500k on the big ticks. And then the little ticks are like 100k on the crit. And I see about, what's that, 155 on the white number. That's just from the dot itself. But look how long we're still running. We're still running. And also we do have MP Collector on this, so we do have that chance of MP Collector. And there we go. We ran for so long on this build. That's why I like this the most out of everything. I like running fast and not having to replenish that. Plus, I just don't like having to run Biofuel. If you guys have tried Bionic Fuel, let's go ahead and change this. This mod over here, it's okay. What it does is reduces your speed of light speed, but instead you consume HP instead of MP. Now we thought that this, along with like a HP Collector, would just fix that and keep healing you, but it doesn't. HP Collector cannot keep up with Bionic Fuel. This will always have you at very low HP, so when you get to like the boss in the end of a dungeon, he's gonna one-shot you if he even touches you, if you have like bad like shields or something. That's why if you do want to run Bionic Fuel, we have found it actually pretty useful for the missions where you get those shield drones. You know, you have to follow a little drone around as like a shield drone, and he sucks out your shield. Bionic Fuel is awesome for those, as it's just better than this build, because this build, nobody really builds shields unless it's for something very specific. So Bionic Fuel build, if you guys want that, I can try and make another build. I had it over here, but I recently dropped it out because I just don't feel like it's what you want to run. This over here is the best AoE one. So the max range one over there is more damage, but less confidence, like less defense, as well as less MP and skill cost reduction. So you can't run all the time, but you do a little bit more damage. Then our bossing build over here, again, this is the highest we could get for the boss build. We've almost been able to kill Devourer in one phase before he goes in range. We just didn't get lucky on crits, as well as having these two not leveled up. We're missing out on so much crit. And when you actually level up Dangerous Ambush, this gives you so much damage on boss fights, because whenever the boss is not targeting you, even if you are solo, if he's not like doing a skill on you or something, or if he's looking away or charging something up, he's technically not targeting you. And also, whenever he falls down into the groggy state, then he's also not targeting you. So you can easily one-shot burst Devourer with this, and any of the other bosses. I mean, you can't one-shot them all, but you can do substantial damage on Bunny. I've just never really built my Bunny for bossing, but I think I might actually change these around. I just have to change these two polarities, as I have different polarities of there, obviously because of this build. But with this bossing build, it actually ties really well into the max range build, as you only have to change these two and they use the same polarities. So I think in the next day or so, I'm going to actually change this around and see how this goes. But for now, this is just the comfiest that I can get Bunny to go. Obviously, with constantly running all the time, like the MP and everything is so good on this. We have max MP increase. Range is not as much as the max range one, but it's still over 100%. I would say at least aim for, you know, trying to get to 100% range. So probably like skill expansion and then something else. We have Frugal Mindset there for the skill effect range. So that is why we have built it like we have. Now let's have a look at the mods. We do have High Voltage, obviously, then Agony just for MP defense. Emergency, this is just crit. Crit is super important on Bunny. That's like the hardest. I hit a wall early on Bunny. I was like, how do I get more damage? I tried all the different battle tech mods like Electric Specialist and Focus on Electric, Focus on Singular, Technician. I've tried all the different combos between these, the battle mods and the attack mods, and they give differences in damage. Like these give you the most, but it's very, very small difference in like how much damage they give you. But then when you play around with your crit and you get your crit rate up, especially your crit damage, the multiplier on the crit damage is insane. So crit is very important if you're trying to just push your damage as high as you can. So that's why I would like to have the other crit one in here, Front Lines, as we are missing out over there on 64% crit damage and 20% crit chance. So I'm missing quite a bit, but obviously with the bossing and the max range one, we'll go and fit those in. But let's carry on with the build. So always most important, you're trying to get the most damage you can. Crit is your friend. Just build crit up. I think we can get to about 207 crit damage and crit rate once we have both mods on and fully maxed out. And then Electric Specialist does give you the most damage, but if you do need a little bit of cooldown, you can go on Focus on Electric if you're lacking a little bit cooldown, as well as if you're not using High Voltage. If you are running yourself a normal Bunny, you can use that just for a little bit of baked in cooldown. It has the damage is a little bit lower, but you do have the cooldown. So you want to make sure that you always have this coming off cooldown as it's like on its last tick, so you can never lose a tick of that. It's more important to have that on like a perfect rotation as what it is to have it doing the most amount of damage, in my opinion. And then we got crit over there, Focus on Singular, just because our skill is singular, we're focusing on singular over there. Just more damage. It gives us a little bit of cooldown as well to help, because we don't have any cooldown on this, but High Voltage does reduce your cooldown by default. And then whatever grappling hook you want, but I highly suggest going with the long distance maneuvering grappling hook, as this can just give you so much damage. And then we have Frugal Mindset over there for skill cost and range. These two mods are what really make the build comfy. As you see, we have skill cost reduction and we have max MP with defense and the range. The defense and the range is not like massive, but it does help a little bit. But that skill cost and the MP increase is very nice on these to make it so comfy with your super speed. Then we do have MP Collector as well. Whenever this does proc, usually when you're fighting a lot of like big packs of enemies, it does actually proc, but overall it seems pretty underwhelming. I think this may not be working completely as intended, but it is only a 17% chance. So we all know how chances work, probability, you know, the probability of actually getting that 17% chance to proc. So when it works though, it's pretty nice, as it just does help you maintain your MP so you can run all the time. Then we do have crit again. We got skill expansion over there for increased range. And then I like to run HP amplification. Gives you a little bit more HP than the normal HP mod. And also, where is it? It shares the same socket. So you could use this one until you upgrade later on. You get this purple on the HP amp. You're not going to use shield on this build, so it doesn't matter. You can get a little bit. So it's very small amounts. See there, from 218 to 227. But anything more is more. It's not costing you anything different, as it shares the same polarity. So this is my comfy Wob Wob AoE build. Now let's have a look at the bossing build. This is still a little bit of a work in progress. I have tested this and we have almost one phase Devour. We had him down to like a third HP and then he went immune, because we just don't have this leveled up as well as this. So we're missing out on so much more damage. But I think once we level those two up, it should easily be able to mount the Devour before he goes immune. And then it will do very good on other bosses as well. It's not the tankiest, but you do have Spear and Shield there for defense and skill power. But you really want to get your tankiness from your components. I also talked to you guys about components for different builds in a sec. And then from the bossing to the max range is a very easy change. If you see there on max range, the only difference we have is MP Collector and maximum range. And then we drop Dangerous Ambush and Spear and Shield for the max range. Just going to do more damage because, like I said before, you want to try and fit on these crits. That's why in my comfy wob wob build over there, I have the blue crits. I would say is the most important because they have the highest single number on them, crit and then crit damage. So these two are most important. And then the next one, I would say either crit rate. This one's going to give you a like more consistency because it will give you more crit rate, but it's going to give you less like ceiling damage because your crit damage multiplier is going to be a little bit lower. So if you want to go with inconsistency but higher hits, you can go with front lines instead on the comfy build. Or what you could essentially do is drop one of these two mods for front lines as well. That's what I plan on doing pretty soon, is I want to switch over to this max range build. So drop these two and then just make sure you do have MP on your components, because by having that MP on the components and stuff, you might be able to get away with dropping these two and still just only having MP Collector. So now let's have a look at our components. Now the Supernova set is really good, but it's not the greatest, and it also doesn't have the greatest stats on it. So I'm only using 2 set over there for the electric skill power modifier, as that does give quite a bit of damage. It was also not losing too much stats. Now when you're farming and like doing Cooper runs or gold runs or anything, you can just put on whatever you have for, you know, booster Kuiper, booster gold, whatever it is you want. But this is going to be your all-around best kind of stats you want to look for bossing and for like the hard mode dungeons if you are struggling with them. So max HP, and then we got a raise over there on fire res, and then this one we have, this is a very important line. The max MP is very important, and then the MP recovery in combat is just as important. If you can get both of those, excellent. If you can't get both of them, at least get the max MP, because 133 max MP is going to just help you run that much longer. And then it's going to also increase the max MP, will increase the percentages from the mods, because the percentages give you a percent of your max MP. So if your max MP is higher, you can get more out of any max MP mods you have on your build. That's why this is actually very important. Make sure you do get MP and MP recovered wherever you can get it. I just ended up getting it on the sensor. Now don't worry about the 2 set. I'm not actually using this for the 2 set. I just ended up, those are the 2 base pieces I have. So I'm using these. As you can see, the Annihilation one, you've got max HP and defense, and it does have gold on it. That could obviously be something else. I'm not sure what else we could get there, but the defense on that could also be higher. And then for our processor, we have defense, max shield. I think every processor has max shield on it, unfortunately, but we do have defense and then pretty high toxin res. So we got toxin and fire res, and then we've got pretty decent defense. We've got about 20k defense, and our HP should be pretty close to 8k once we actually do get back to level 40. And then another tip I can share for you guys on your weapon, the Thunder Cage, I'll share with you guys both builds. I have this bunny defense build and I have the Critster build. Now this is like your base build for the Thunder Cage. You want to just build it up with as much crit as you can. I haven't finished this one yet because I put a lot of work into my tamer and another weapon, but I am working on the Thunder Cage now. This is an excellent weapon. This is your overall like bossing damage weapon, but I don't even use my weapon when I'm doing dungeons. I run the bunny defense version, and all you really do is slap on this defense master mod, because this does work with your weapons. I have tried this. Even if you have them holstered, you don't have to kill enemies to get this defense buff. But when I'm running the hard mode dungeons, I slap this on, and then when defeating an enemy, you get 128% defense for 10 seconds as a 15-second cooldown. So it's got like a 5-second downtime. So you're gaining a massive amount of defense while you are running through the dungeons. Just makes them that much smoother. Not that you need it, but I mean, you're not using your weapon anyway, so you might as well go ahead and use it. Now, there's another mod you can use as well that I have tried out, the remote generator. When defeating enemies inflicted with electrocution, inflicts electrocution on other enemies. Now this doesn't really do much for us, as we pretty much one-shot all the enemies in all the dungeons, so this doesn't really do anything. But maybe later on, once we have much harder content where they scale even higher, maybe this could then be a useful mod to actually have on your weapon. But for now, just run Defense Master if you want that little bit more extra comfiness, as this will proc and give you massive amount of defense. You know, we'll be at like 40k defense with this. So we had a pretty crazy amount of defense in combat when we're actually killing enemies. And I almost forgot to mention my reactor. Now for your reactor, you just want to make sure you have electrical and singular power. What I would prefer on my reactor is a double crit roll. I want crit rate damage and crit rate chance is what I would prefer. But obviously we didn't get blessed with that just yet. So I would aim for crit on my reactor just for the most amount of damage you could get. But something like this is a good placeholder for now. Just try and get at least 1 damage roll on it, and then either duration up or cooldown. Or you could even go with like range crit, but early on you're probably not going to have enough cooldown and duration to keep your V up all the time. So that's why having duration or cooldown on your reactor is not bad while you're starting out. I do need to go replace this though. I definitely want to have, I think I have one in my stash. It's like crit damage and range, which is actually really solid. I'm going to use that, but I just don't have the weapon for that one yet, because when you're using the legendary ones, you do have to have the weapon equipped. As you can see, Thunder Cage mounting, so make sure you are actually equipping the weapon. So that's all I got for you guys in this video. Sorry it took so long for me to get any buddy content out. I will be making more updated versions as we go further, as I do really want to try and like get this bossing one as high as possible and see if I can actually use my bunny as a bosser. I'm not really a big fan of using bunny as a bosser. I usually just, you know, run her for my dungeon spams, and I play my Enzo for bossing. His build is down in the description if you want to check it out. But yeah, I just prefer to play other characters for bossing, but I have ultimate bunny, and if she's going to do crazy damage, I may as well use her, right? So we're going to try out the bossing build, and I'll keep you guys updated as well. Join the streams at twitch.tv/Augiesaint. We are streaming pretty much every single day. We'll be live right after this video goes up. If you have any questions on like farming dungeons or bunny or just anything in general, drop them by. I'd love to see you guys there, as well as join our Discord. We'll have that all in the description down below. It is growing every single day. There's a lot of people in there. We have like an LFG part there now. We've got a general chat for First Descendants. There's quite a few people in there. So come on, join in the fun and make some friends while playing the First Descendants. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked it, please drop a like and a sub on the channel. Helps me out so much, and I'll catch you beautiful people on the streams as well as the next video. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying